Rung for Women and LaunchCode, next on City Corner. Hi, I'm Sarah Thompson and welcome to City Corner. When it comes to lifting women into the middle class with the ability to pursue a career, sustainably make more money, and thrive in all aspects of life, it can be a nonstop challenge. Rung for Women provides a comprehensive start-to-finish solution through its programming at its new $20 million campus in the Fox Park neighborhood. In the first half of the show today, we're going to learn more about Rung for Women and how you or someone you know can become a member. In the second half of the show, I'm going to speak with LaunchCode, one of Rung for Women's nonprofit co-designers, which offers free tech education and job placement opportunities to bring new people from all backgrounds into the tech field. I'm now joined by Leslie Gill, president of Rung for Women. Thank you so much for joining me today virtually.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Well, I drove by the campus the other day, and I know we had a crew out there the other week just to get some footage, and it's really such a striking campus. I want to kind of walk through it and for you to tell us all about the different features and the partners you've worked with. But before we get to that point, explain to people what Rung for Women is.
Sure. So Rung for Women is a nonprofit organization based here in St. Louis. We are a regional organization, so women from around the region are welcome to become members of Rung for Women as long as they can get to our campus located in Fox Park in South St. Louis City. We were created as an organization to really help women move up the rungs on the opportunity ladder. So that is through career, through financial coaching, wellness, trauma informed, and really, you know, for us, the ultimate goal, the end game, and so we're starting sort of with the end in mind, is we want more women making more money. And so we provide a variety of services at our campus in Fox Park that help remove barriers, but also provide training and education and direct connection to employers to help, again, women move up the rungs on the ladder. So, you know, our founder, Allie Hogan, started 10 years ago a resale clothing boutique where she really worked with a lot of women who were in crisis, who were, you know, living in homeless shelters, you know, in domestic violence situations. She really helped them prepare for interviews by providing professional attire. And a lot of what she learned through those experiences was that women needed more than clothes. And so then she had the great vision and wisdom to say, like, how can we help solve this problem and create a community where women can invest in themselves, really focus on transformation, and again, ultimately make more money.
Well, I thought it was a great article in the Post-Dispatch, and you had some really nice quotes in there where you were saying that so many organizations are just trying to stop the bleeding, but what you're really trying to do is help women who are surviving but not thriving. And so you're really trying to lift them into the middle class. And I love this idea where it's bringing all these organizations under one roof. When you are on your website and you hear this term co-designer, explain how you've partnered and brought all these different organizations under and on your campus.
Sure. So, you know, our goal wasn't just to create another nonprofit. It was really to leverage existing assets. And we know that St. Louis has some amazing nonprofit organizations meeting everyday needs and helping people, you know, grow and be well in a variety of different ways. And so really, as we designed our model, we knew that this relationship between Rung and other nonprofits who would co-locate on our campus was more than just a partnership. I mean, we knew 3 years ago when we started to design the Rung program model that we wanted those organizations to join us in the design of the model. And so that's why they're termed co-designers and not partners. They will co-locate on our campus. They will have staff that work from our site. All of the partner organizations are co-designers. None of them will have like their full-fledged operation. This is a satellite for most of them. And so we're just super excited to have, some of the best and brightest organizations from the region to join us on this journey. Organizations that have been around 10 years or 100 years. And so, they'll all provide the best of what they do. Many of them do, a variety of things, but they will do the one thing they do really well at Rung, and they'll provide that service to our members.
Mm-hmm. I love just everything about this concept. And I know that I read that in those early stages, you were working with WashU, with the School of Social Work. Mm-hmm. So was it that they were giving you sort of data or information as to how to create the best approach?
Yeah, so our partnership with WashU is through the Evaluation Center. And so they really are our evaluation partner and really evaluation co-designer in many ways. So they've really challenged us to think about how we will collect data, what we will do, how we will tell our story long term, and making sure that this investment that we're making is significant and scalable, right? Because, our goal is not to just stop here in the St. Louis region, but figure out how we have Rung opportunities in other markets across the country. So, WashU has been a great partner, the Brown School of Social Work and the team there. They've really challenged us to think about how we do things different. I like to say how we do things uniquely Rung, because there's nothing traditional about how we operate. And so, it's just a really exciting time for St. Louis, for the city, for the region to look at, this collaborative model. So many organizations work in partnership together, but this true sense of collaboration around design and outcomes and implementation is really unique. Rung's role in this is to identify members, so women, and match them with a coach. And then all of our co-designers provide the direct service. So they don't have to go out and find clients or participants. We do that for them so that they can really just focus on what they do best.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you're alluding to kind of this process of, I think what I want to make sure we cover in the interview is that for anyone hearing this, like how they get involved, like how they come to the center, how that works. So you mentioned you become a member. Yes. That's an application process, or what's the criteria?
Sure. So again, the term member is also really intentional, because for us, even in the design of the building, community was always our undergirding philosophy. And when you think about, women's organizations, sororities, or, other social organizations, they're members, right? And so while this isn't necessarily social in nature, it is intended to create community and create healthy social networks for a group of women who don't necessarily have access to those healthy social networks. And so membership is essentially for any person who identifies as a woman, minimum age 21. And we have lots of debate around that, because, this is not an organization for women who are in crisis. You have to have some stable housing, some work history, and really be intrinsically motivated to want to take on this responsibility, because it's not like 90 days and you're done. There is a minimum of a 6-month commitment that we require of membership. And that is really 6 months of coaching. So working one-on-one and in groups with a coach who really is your accountability partner around goal setting and transformation and family action planning. Like, what do you want for your life? Which is a unique concept. It's rare that as women, and you might, be able to relate to this, as women, that we get a chance to step back and really focus on ourselves. We're always so busy taking care of other people that this is a community and a space for women to really focus on transformation, to focus on, you know, what's ahead for me, both personally and professionally.
You know, and there's a clear outcome, which is an important one as well. I mean, you alluded to with the co-designers, health and well-being, but clearly employment is the sort of end game, end goal. Is that right?
Sure. I mean, and it's not like just, I need a new job, right? This is really connecting women to career opportunities that have growth potential. So, you know, we want everyone to make a family sustaining wage. And that means they are earning enough money to meet their basic needs, but also have a little more to plan for their future. And so, you know, for this region, that's about $60,000 a year for a woman with 2 children. So we want our members to get there, and once they get there, be able to grow from there, so that, you know, they can plan for retirement and college tuition if that is a desire. So we don't want them to just stop there. We want them to continue to grow.
No, it's such a well thought out at every stage. I mean, I really love this idea. Before we go, I mean, I have to forgive you. You have this amazing campus. I mean, really, I drove by it. I haven't had a chance to go in it yet. I know our team did, our crew did. Tell us about this $20 million redevelopment of this campus. Maybe we could spend another 30 minutes about it. Maybe some of the highlights.
Sure, 3.7 acres, 46,000 square feet. I mean, we really did design it with women in mind. So we have a commercial kitchen and a demonstration kitchen where we'll provide daily grab-and-go meals for our members and their families, huddle spaces for 2 people up to 200. So again, this notion of community and a gathering place, and a place for women to get together and talk about, you know, what's on their mind for the day, as well as meeting with their coach or meeting with their therapist. So Safe Connections and Provident will both provide on-site counseling and therapy. In addition to Family Care Health Center, will operate our medical center. So women who are members can come and get well women visits or school physicals or mammograms right on site at Rung. We have a gym. So obviously well-being and physical fitness is important, is an important philosophy for us as an organization. We want women to be well, both physically and mentally. So we have a gym, and we have an organization, Fit and Food, who will provide personal training and exercise, in addition to the collective, who will join us as a co-designer around yoga and mindfulness and that spiritual and also mental well-being. So we really did think of women when we were designing the space. There's a space for children. There's a child watch space, so that there is never a barrier around food or childcare, or I have, you know, my daughter has a homework assignment that we have to get home to do. We'll have homework help for school-age children. So, you know, really want women to come and, you know, transform their lives.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, it's so comprehensive. And I know we talk so much about wanting change in our community, and people use that even in these general senses. Oh, you know, women need to be able to move forward, but we don't ever have the clear pathways to get there. And I think what I really love about this and what it shows is that here is a pathway, like all right here for you on this campus, that can really have change. Well, I wish you luck in the coming months. I should ask you, how are you going to do this? An important question, I guess, as people think about applying and reaching out with the pandemic going on. You're still accepting applicants? People can still reach out to you?
Certainly. So they can go to our website, rungforwomen.org. Applications for our first cohort. So women start together. They might not finish together, but our first cohort will start in January. Applications will open in October. We are doing some modifications to our program implementation, and we'll do a little more virtual than we had anticipated in the beginning. But I mean, we still want to create community. And so we will have women gather safely and within the COVID restrictions for now. But, it is important to have that face-to-face connection.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you clarifying that. Well, we've got the information there for you coming up on the screen. As Leslie just mentioned, it's Rung for Women. It's located at 2717 Sidney Street. That's in the Fox Park neighborhood in the city of St. Louis. For more information, you can email info@rungforwomen.org or call 314-437-0364. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Thank you so much. We're coming up next in the other segment. We're going to speak to one of your co-designers, but I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And just good luck with this first opening phase. It's so exciting, and I look forward to following up with you.
Great. Thank you for having us.
All right. Thank you. And we're going to take a quick break, but stay with us. We're going to be talking with LaunchCode, one of the co-designers with Rung for Women. So stay with us. We'll be right back after the short break.
The Missouri Botanical Garden is loved by green thumbs and non-gardening types alike because you can play. You can relax. And there's always something new to experience, no matter the time of day or the season. And learn about conservation and one-of-a-kind plants. So come and experience St. Louis.
Operation Wonder Park is a go!
There's nothing more powerful than imagination. But don't just imagine. Use STEM to change the world.
Who's with me?
Oh, it's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
I'm Sarah Thompson, and welcome back to City Corner. In the first segment, we were talking with Leslie Gill, president of Rung for Women, and I'm now delighted to be joined by Jessie Wilcox, program manager at LaunchCode. LaunchCode is one of the co-designers with Rung for Women. Jessie, thank you so much for joining us, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So I see LaunchCode, I see the name in the background, see the logo there in the background. There's something that Leslie pointed out that I want to make sure we sort of kind of expand upon in that distinction. Talked about the co-designers not being partners, but really co-designers. So explain to us how LaunchCode got involved with Rung for Women.
Yeah, and so just to give, a little bit of background about what LaunchCode is, we're a nonprofit here in St. Louis. Our mission is to build pathways to economic opportunity through filling the tech talent gap, right? Within that mission, it's about accessibility. At its core, accessibility is built in. And while we do free programming, which is great, it removes the barrier of student loans and student debt, as well as college tuition. But that's just one barrier, right? And so what I love about Rung bringing us in as a co-designer is that they really are able to help us hit and address those other barriers that can stop students from fully participating and engaging in our programs. And we get the chance to do that together, right? Rung recognizes LaunchCode as an organization that's doing this work well. And they said, hey, witness this, we don't need to recreate the wheel or redo what you're doing. They said, we want to bring you in and help you do it even better with other partners who can help you in the things that you don't do, and the services that you're missing, because we don't do it all. And so we're excited.
It's really exciting. And I think when I look at the co-designers, there's a lot of similarities and overlap in the idea, I think, behind when you look at Rung for Women and you look at LaunchCode, which is really focusing on these programs for a long time, step by step, to really have an actual outcome, which is careers that are high earning careers. And in the case of LaunchCode, really bringing in people into the tech industry. It can be, you and I were talking off camera before we started, how intimidating it can be for so many people to even get into tech unless you were focusing on computer science in college. But there's what about the rest of the world? What about the rest of the community?
Exactly. The computing industry today, I believe, is made up of 26% of women. When you want to look at Black and Latinx women, that percentage drops down to 4%, right? That that sucks. Like, that's sad. And so we're really on a mission to say, yo, people are here. The talent is here. It's opportunity that's not available to everybody. So it's really our goal to give the opportunity to people, remove the barriers that's stopping them from accessing the opportunity, and try to move people into careers.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Coder Girl. So this is a specific program of LaunchCode. Tell me what Coder Girl is.
Right. So Coder Girl is our program specifically for people who identify with marginalized genders in tech. So women and non-binary people. It originally started as a meetup off of one of our other programs with women who were in the class and wanted to be picking up their skills together or supporting each other throughout the class in community with one another, in community with professional women in tech already in the St. Louis area. So that meetup grew into what Coder Girl is today. It became one of LaunchCode's official programs back in 2017. And it's really our program that centers people of these genders, right? It says, this is for you. This space was created for you. At the very least, when you walk into this space, know that you are supposed to be here. You don't feel like othered. You should not feel like, oh, do I belong here? Because I'm telling you, this is for you. This is your space. It allows women to take part in one of our 8 different education tracks. And so we do everything from back-end web development to front-end web development, to database management and administration work, to Salesforce admin work, to user experience research and design. And so we're really trying to move people, also introduce people through Coder Girl to the different pathways to tech. A lot of time we think it only means coding, and that's not the case. There are so many careers in tech that we want to expose people to.
Mm-hmm. And I've looked at some of your testimonial videos that you have, and they're great. You guys do a great job with that. And I mean, you hear that people come from backgrounds as teachers, people working in the service industry, moms who maybe have had to put a career on hold to help raise children. I mean, you really have covered like such a wide range of people who are coming into the program.
Right. A lot of times we get asked like, so what's a typical student? Like, there's not one. I wish I could answer that question. There is not a typical student. Like you mentioned, they come from so many pathways, from different neighborhoods of St. Louis, from St. Louis County, from Illinois, right? Like right across the river. They come from pathways as teachers. Some, like this last cohort, I believe we had stay-at-home moms, teachers, jewelers, people who work in the customer service industry, people who work in the retail industry, people who were a PhD graduate and couldn't find a job that will pay them more than $10,000 to $20,000. Like, honestly, there's a mixed bag of people who find themselves coming to Coder Girl with the common goal, right? All these different pathways still bring people to this same point in life, and that's to like better their pathway and chance to economic independence. And the way that they chose to do that is through tech.
That's awesome. Talk about how it's going to function on the Rung for Women campus. How is that going to work?
Yeah. And so our plans were thrown off a little bit, clearly, with COVID in the virtual world. We have our upcoming cohort kicking off next week, actually, which is really exciting. This class would have been on Rung's campus. So they would have been hosting the cohort. People would have gotten to take advantage of like the amazing space that Rung has been built out over in Fox Park. But instead, the ways that we're going to move forward is we're still going to be allowed to use Rung's space, luckily, for like individual study group sessions and small group meetings. I think one of the ways that being a co-designer with Rung is really beneficial, because I mentioned some of those other barriers that our students address. Part of like a downside to our building going under construction soon, and even now with COVID and being in the virtual world, not everybody has consistent access to broadband, right? And like the technology that they need to be able to access class. We are lucky to have Rung there, right? So if we have a student who doesn't have broadband access or Wi-Fi access, they can go to Rung's campus. They would have had access to that there. We have students, it's hard to focus in class on coding when maybe, you know, you're food insecure. Students can access then Rung, what's available at Rung's campus through other co-designers that will be on site. And so honestly, they're able to supplement the barriers that we can't or haven't been able to address through LaunchCode's programming.
That's fantastic. So it's basically going to be a sort of satellite operation for you, it sounds like, for LaunchCode with Coder Girl program, but also members who are going through Rung's program can take advantage of your programs as well.
Right. And so as people come to Rung and members of Rung, as they figure out what kind of career pathways they want to travel down, because tech is not the only one Rung is offering. If they choose tech, then they have the option of LaunchCode to help them get there and to help them figure out, okay, what track or career pathway in tech do I want to pursue?
That's awesome. You've been with LaunchCode for 2 years now. Yeah. What would you just say, like, when people hear this, when you go to your website, I mean, really it's just helps really paint the picture about what LaunchCode does. And like I said, the testimonial videos are great, but for you, the past 2 years, what have been like, what's the highlight for you? What really do you like to share with people about the essence of the program?
Ooh, that's a hard question. I think I would say the essence of the program to me kind of goes back to what brought me to working at LaunchCode and working with the Coder Girl program in the first place, is that this space, this opportunity, this life, this pathway is meant for the people who are here. Like, when you apply to this program, when you get into the program, this is like a space built out for you. And we are very, very, very concerned and want to make sure that you feel that from day one. I don't want you to show up to class and think, is this really for me? Just because you feel out of place. Like, this LaunchCode, honestly, is like a home. We tell people all the time, once you are in our classes, you're part of the LaunchCode family now. You're not going to forget me, because I'm going to be hitting you up 2 weeks from now. Like, yo, the person you watched in that video, I'm hitting them up like, hey, you want to come talk to this next cohort started? Want to come talk to them to share your experience and like be a network to them. I really think that's where like Rung's mission is highlighted with like moving up the ladder. It's like, as you climb, you lift the people coming behind you.
No, I think, and I thank you for sharing that, because I think it's the same thing that I had said in the last segment to Leslie. I think we talk so much about how we're going to like accomplish these goals as a society, and there's different organizations doing different things, but sometimes it doesn't feel like there's a collective and outright pathway to get there. And so what Rung for Women, as well as LaunchCode, is doing is allowing there to be a clear pathway, and a pathway that results in something, and just very comprehensive. And I just think it's a great commitment to make to people and to society. And thank you so much for sharing, for your time and for sharing everything. We're going to put up the information for LaunchCode. It's LaunchCode. You can head to their website, as we've talked about a couple times in the segment. There's a lot of comprehensive information there, launchcode.org, or you can call 314-254-0107, or follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more information, or their YouTube page. Jessie, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I know you're on like Zoom, overload your bandwidth for Zoom. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much. It was so good to talk to you.
Thank you. And thank you at home for watching, and keep it right here virtually on STL TV via our website, stltv.net. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.